I didn't log in under me.
Come through, Janet.
So we're gonna give them about a couple more minutes, and if then I'll just start kind of accepting people as we go.
And we can celebrate some Black Girl Magic today with Cameron.
Oh, absolutely.
No, that's my soror.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
No, but Stacy did a great job.
She
With
did.
the voter, helping with the voter suppression. Oh, I'm so relieved.
Me too. Me too.
I think everybody. Get some more.
Hey, Dawn.
Hey.
That's the other Dawn.
Hey, y'all.
How are you?
We need numbers like 1 and 2.
That's right. Hey, Dawn. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey, Dawn.
I don't know why it's doing it. Okay, stop now. I don't know why I was doing it. All right, guys. I know it's some people still coming in and they're sending me emails for some reason, messages for some reason. It's asking for a passcode, but I'm sitting here accepting everybody else. So if anybody, any of your people are planning to come on and they ask for a passcode, it's 36117. Uh-oh, did y'all hear any of that?
What happened? What happened to your video, Sasha?
Oh, it's freezing. It was doing so great.
So much Black Girl Magic then got on the line.
Can you guys hear me?
It's burning the line up. I can hear you, but your video had froze.
1 second. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
That's why we got to have backup. I knew this computer was going to act crazy, but that's fine. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I wanted to let y'all know before we got started that if it's somebody that you were requesting to come to this event and they're saying that they can't get in for some reason, I know I can accept them here, but they're asking them for a passcode. So that's why it's taking people so long to get in. And the passcode is 36117, and I'm going to put it down in the chat box.
It's 36117. Okay, let me reach out to somebody.
I'm sorry about that. I didn't think it would do that, but I don't know what's going on. Zoom is changing a little bit.
Because I know
you got it.
It's me on
I just put it in the chat, y'all. The passcode 36117.
36117.
Okay, y'all. So I am so excited about this part 2 of our event called Creating Pathways. It's through the nonprofit, of course, Sister Second Chance. I'm going to first start by telling the people that don't know a little bit about Sister Second Chance. I started this program in 2014 in Montgomery, Alabama. And we started it because we wanted to help other women in the area that were suffering with things like abuse from their spouse or abuse in relationships, was suffering with being a solo mother and not having support, was not able to get mental health services that they would need because of lack of funds and just things of that nature. I'm gonna try to mute everybody because I'm hearing feedback. I'm so sorry, y'all. But yeah, so it was just a lot of things that I started to notice as a solo or single mother, that was things that I wanted to try to kind of see if I could find any way that I could help or fill that void. I thought that it would be challenging because at the time I was just a person that was struggling as well. So I was like, oh, I know I can't help nobody. I can barely help myself. But either way it went, I just did whatever I could. I would pull pennies and nickels together to try to do something to help people out. So that's what we basically have grown from there. We're now working here in Georgia as well and trying to partner with other organizations here to try to do the best we can. We have grown with our free counseling services that we provide mental health online. And I just love the fact that people are starting to open up more, and we're providing those services. We provide 5 free slots a week of 30-minute sessions to women because there's only one therapist there. So that's me. But the more that we grow, we'll hopefully be able to do more people and help more people. And we would like to start providing services for the mental health, not only to women, but to men as well, because we need men to support us just like we need us supporting men. And that's something I think that we forget. We all need each other to work together, to unite, because it's not about working just for the woman or just for the man. It's really about working for people, period. So that's a little bit about Sister Second Chance. Today, we have some amazing topics. We have toxic relationships that is going to be discussed by Miss Lovey Dawn or Dawn Hurst, but a lot of people know her on social media as Miss Lovey Dawn, and I'll introduce her in a few. And then we also have Miss Sharita Shanae Ziegler, who has an amazing voice. I might try to see if I can get her to sing a little song for us. And she's amazing. She's been a friend of mine, a sister of mine now for, a long time, but we got to do better. I told her we're going to get together and hang out, but it's been, I don't know, it's been a long time. And she's going to discuss vulnerability and self-love. But the purpose is not just to talk about these topics. If you look in a group chat, you will see where people have started putting in their businesses. And I want you guys to follow each other, become united and support each other. I don't care if you just share each other's posts, but it's all about us coming together as people to share, support, and help each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut my mouth, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first speaker, Miss Sharita Shanae Ziegler. And I want to tell you guys a little bit about her. I'm going to unmute you in case you want to just be my amen corner, Sharita. But she is amazing, y'all. Ever since I met her, she's always had the same amazing spirit. She's always been a sweetheart, always doing things to help the community, always being a leader she needs to be a politician if you ask me, but whatever.
Hey, look, if Trump can do it, you know what? I said, if Trump can do it, then hey, it might be a chance.
You know what to say.
Yep.
But she's amazing. If you guys check her out, she has gone out and she has definitely spoke for our community and told people about, did I mess up, guys? I'm sorry. Somebody's asking for that code again. But yeah, she has done so many amazing things can you guys hear me? Mm-hmm. Okay, so many amazing things that I'm seeing her do in the community. She started a nonprofit organization, and it's called Guide My Heart. And I would love for us to collaborate sometimes, because she does a lot of great things to support women in the community. I know she helps anybody because she's just that type of person, but she helps women. She inspires them, even women that do think they kind of have things going on. She makes them feel good too, and gives them awards and reminds them of the amazing people they are. So I needed to let her know how amazing you are, Sarita.
Thank you.
You are. You guys, she has a background of communication, psychology, marketing, and communications. I'm jealous, y'all. If y'all look at her Instagram page, y'all need to be paying her to do y'all, because I'm telling you, she's the bomb. But anyways, without all that being said, I wanted to introduce you guys to Sarita Shanae Ziegler.
Well, thank you, Sasha. And as she said, I have a nonprofit for teen girls and women, and it's an acronym, Guide My Heart. For the heart stands for health, emotional, physical, energy, ambition, relationships with God, self, and others, and a good use of your time and talents. And a big chunk of Guide My Heart is focused around self-love and avoiding toxic relationships, because I feel like a lot of times, especially as teen girls going into womanhood, a lot of the issues that we have stem from, first, our relationships with ourselves, low self-esteem, low self-value, and then what we allow. And with that being said, it eventually leads to us going into toxic relationships or accepting toxic relationships, whether it's in friendships or in romantic relationships. And we know how toxic relationships romantically can obviously lead down a not so great path. And what I discovered is sometimes when I was in a toxic relationship or just a relationship that wasn't good for me, I wasn't focused on it. Well, it affected my health. It affected my mental health and my physical health, going through really bad breakups. It affected my energy. It affected my ambition. I didn't really care. I would be so focused in 1 minute and then I wouldn't really care. And it affected my relationships with myself. And I wasn't making good use of my time and talent. So that's the whole premise. And I feel like if we start with our teen girls, it's really imperative, because we can avoid a lot of things that we end up experiencing if we start early and just really, really hone in on that self-love and knowing how to recognize toxic relationships. So today we're going to be talking about vulnerability. And when Sasha had, shared with me this topic, she wanted me to kind of discuss the pros and the cons, and then how it kind of works with, I guess, self-love and or toxic relationships. And the irony is that I had already a while ago, earlier this year, had a talk around, I had not shared it yet, but I was going to share with the ladies, don't be so quick to give up the V. And I'm not talking about that other V. And I was referring to vulnerability. And so I thought it was so ironic that she reached out to me about that. And the reason why it's so imperative, we'll get into that, but let me just first talk about vulnerability. Because I think a lot of people get mixed up with, vulnerability and honesty. Yes, honesty is a part of vulnerability, but you don't have to be 100% vulnerable with anybody and everybody. Honesty is important with everybody, but you don't have to give all of yourself to everybody. Vulnerability is defined as the quality or state of being exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally. So you're putting yourself out there to be possibly harmed or attacked physically or emotionally. This is not a Sarita definition. You can look it up. So understand that being vulnerable, that is an exchange. You're putting yourself out there to possibly be attacked physically or emotionally. So I categorize vulnerability in different forms, because to me, there's different levels of vulnerability. So the first level for me is honesty. And I think any relationship you have, friendship, whatever, I think everybody deserves that level of vulnerability, honesty. Then you have where you may share your dreams, your goals, your fantasies. There's also sharing your fears, your doubts, your secrets. In vulnerability, they may be privy to your finances in your family. And then to me, the ultimate level of vulnerability is intimacy, whether that's physical or emotional. I feel like with vulnerability, transparency is how you get to vulnerability, and privacy is how you protect it. I think, again, sometimes we feel just because we're honest that we have to be totally transparent, and that's not necessarily the case. I'll give you an example. I can be honest about my age. I'm 40, and I'm a woman, but transparency might be me showing you my driver's license. I don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm being honest about it. So, and privacy, again, is how we protect our vulnerability. And it is important, and I'm gonna get into that with dating and relationships, why it's so important to understand when you're crossing over and when you're no longer protecting your vulnerability. Now, this is some pros of being vulnerable, because obviously there is a need to a certain extent if you're going to grow a relationship. These are some of the pros of being vulnerable or vulnerability. As I mentioned, it's based in honesty and transparency. So that's a good thing. Being vulnerable you have to be honest. So you have to be honest with yourself, and you're being honest with that person. So that's a good thing. Vulnerability allows for deeper connections. So, with romantic relationships, we know the more vulnerable we are, it allows for that relationship to grow. However, I think a lot of times as women, especially, that we assume because we want the relationship to go to the next level, let me just give you everything. Nope. That's not, and I'm gonna talk about that, why we're not supposed to be 100% vulnerable, and how that can be, because again, you're putting yourself out there. If you don't know if you're gonna be with that person a year from now, or even a couple weeks from now, and you give all yourself, understand that's kind of dangerous. When you're vulnerable, another pro of being vulnerable, you receive an exchange and you allow the person to be vulnerable back to you. So there's this expectation that if I'm vulnerable with you, you'll be vulnerable with me. So you're getting this exchange of the full person. Now, it doesn't always happen like that, and I think that's why a lot of people end up getting hurt as well, because they assume I'm giving you all of me, and then you find out you didn't get the all from the other person, and you feel it feels like there's a level of distrust there now because you've given everything, and they can use that, but they don't give you anything. So don't assume because you give somebody all of yourself that they're going to give it all the way back. It can also lead to a better understanding of the people that you love, and it can allow for better communication. Obviously, if you're trying to understand people more, if you're trying to figure out what's going on, vulnerability, can be a gateway to that, because you're going to be able to understand the person if you know the person, or know what makes them tick or what doesn't, and all that good stuff. But here's the thing. This is why I'm a big proponent of protecting our vulnerability. My nonprofit is Got My Heart. It's actually I based it off of Proverbs 4:23. Guard your heart, all things flow from it. And God, this is from a spiritual reflection. He gave us specific instructions to guard our hearts. And, that is where I said about privacy and protection. We have to protect ourselves. So when you are 100% vulnerable with just anybody and everybody, that's not good. And you are opening up channels that may not need to be for people who don't deserve it, or may not be around, or who can eventually be disloyal to you, and it can cause you harm. So these are some of the reasons why we can't be just 100% vulnerable with everybody. And then we're going to talk about who you can and what would make sense when you are. Being 100% vulnerable can allow harm to come when it's given to the wrong people at the wrong time. Sometimes it may be, if I go on a date with a guy, I just met this guy online, and we go on a date next week, and then we go on another date. We have fun. Okay. Being honest, you be honest with who you are. Being honest does not mean that you have to tell him every every dream that you have, every fear, everything about you, everything about your family, your private secrets, in order to advance this. Actually, and I'm gonna be honest, this is what I'm learning as I'm 40 now, but men prefer a little mystery. I would say even going into, if I got married, you might still want to have a little, that's what keeps a man coming back. So that's just a, surface level, but even on why would you want someone to know these things? And I'm sure each of you can think about somebody you dated that it seemed cool and then it went left later. And you're thinking, oh, I wish I hadn't shared this, or I wish I hadn't shared that. And I'm not trying to in any way, because I do understand, that's why I said there's levels to vulnerability. I'm not trying to say that, there's something wrong with sharing a part of yourself, but you still have to be protective of it. When we think of guarding, like when I say guard your heart from the Bible verse, guarding does not mean that someone cannot come in. It means that only the right people can. So your vulnerability is reserved for the right people. And when I say the right people at the right time, like I said, you just on the second date and then, y'all no longer, or y'all have a fight or whatever. And now you've got somebody who has things that they can possibly use against you or can manipulate. A lot of times that happens too with narcissists. They can use these things to manipulate you or to try to control you or to, so that's why it's important to be very mindful of, who you're being vulnerable with and at the right time. There's a level to what all you're supposed to share. You're not supposed to just give everything of yourself to someone just because they're there. That's all I'm saying. It's an earned thing, and it's got to make sense. Vulnerability can cause a mistrust in a relationship when the vulnerability has not been returned. That's what I mentioned earlier. I mean, that's the worst, when you shared everything about you, you've given everything over, and this person doesn't give it in return. It can really cause some issues on a lot of people, because they feel like I've allowed myself to be vulnerable. I put this on that was very hard and I got nothing in return. Now I don't know what to do with it. And so, that's something that can go. And sometimes it doesn't always lead to a deeper connection. You can be super vulnerable with a man and, go all the way down to intimacy, and they know everything about you, everything. And then you're no longer with them. And, maybe some people, it doesn't bother them, but I know for me, everybody doesn't deserve my full vulnerability. That to me, these, well, let me give you the synonyms for vulnerability, just so you know. It is risk, open to attack, exposed, undefended, unshielded, unsafe. These are the synonyms. So this is just trying to just reiterate how when you are vulnerable, I know everybody makes it seem like, oh, you gotta, in love, you gotta be vulnerable, but that's in love. You're not always there. And if you're vulnerable with everybody, you are opening the gateways for these things. You're open to attack. You're undefended. You're unsafe. You're unprotected. So that's why vulnerability has to be reserved for these people. And I'm gonna tell you who I personally reserve 100% vulnerability for. First and foremost, God. Can't go wrong with that. Then myself. And I think a lot of people they try to be vulnerable with someone they're dating or seeing, and they're not even vulnerable with themselves. They don't even know themselves enough. Be 100% vulnerable with yourself. Be 100% truthful. Get to know yourself in that way. And there's no one to judge you, but be mindful that that's with you. And then with your children or your parents, and then your spouse or future spouse. That's what I feel like. I feel like my husband, he deserves 100% vulnerability from me. Somebody I'm dating for 2 weeks, I can be honest with you, and there are different things that I'm vulnerable with, and you can make that decision, and it should make sense. But you don't have to give everything about you to someone that you may or may not, they're not a part of your future. And again, I know there's going to be exceptions with parents and children or whatever, but the list that I gave are people who are permanent fixtures and who love you unconditionally, because that's where, to me, that's where that deserves the 100% vulnerability, is that 100% love that's unconditional, that has no conditions around it, and that's not going anywhere. I know people say, oh, but they might get divorced. That's true. But it's just like with sex. I mean, that's true too, but that's your husband. So you were okay to do that because y'all made a commitment to be together forever. Now, whether that worked out, but you know what I'm saying? It's a little different giving that to your husband, 100% vulnerability. So back to how that relates to, and vulnerability should be earned from the ones you're sharing it with. Like, you know, how long you've known them and all that stuff. It makes a difference on, because I know a lot of people too think, you know, you probably have best friends and sisters and all that good stuff. And, you know, everybody has to be, you know, feel like who they feel like they can be 100% vulnerable with. And there's goodness in being vulnerable to a certain extent with people that are close to you, but you need to make that decision on who you feel like, if you didn't talk to them, you know, if you didn't talk to them again, who do you feel comfortable knowing this much? Because again, this can affect how you have perceptions of yourself. And I say all this to say, because a lot of times women who, when you end up getting out of these relationships and depressed, the reason why it's not the guy wasn't that great. You're going through this storm because you were 100% vulnerable with somebody who didn't deserve it. And it feels like that. It feels like somebody snatched something from you, and they did. You know, we have to take our vulnerability seriously. And again, if we give it to the wrong person, it can lead to toxic relationships. And narcissists, they key in on very empathetic people and people who are very vulnerable to that type of thing. So, you know, that's kind of in a nutshell how, you know, vulnerability is a good thing. Again, you have to open yourself up to a certain extent, but I just think that you should be protective over who you're vulnerable with. Always be honest. I think that's the minimum requirement in anybody and everybody. Always be honest, but you can be honest without being, you know, giving away everything that's private to you and that's personal to you, because that's how you protect your heart. And it gives you a little buffer because, you know, it gives you some sense of control of who you are and who you allow and how you value yourself. So, Sasha.
Thank you so much. It's so funny listening to you talk about vulnerability. I think that all of us have gone through that little phase where we just felt like we didn't know what was going on. We like, okay, I want to slide in with him, but no, he ain't right. But at the end of the day, it's probably just us now, right? Because we're giving something to somebody that don't even deserve to have it. So, but I definitely can relate to you, but you threw me off. I ain't gonna lie. When you said, don't be so quick to give up the beat, so you made me sit up here and I'm sitting here.
Well, it was supposed to do that. Yeah, that's why, you know, I'm always coming up with the titles, but you know, the thing, we always thinking about the vagina, like, oh, you know, you know, I'm just saying, I mean, you know, that other V is just as, believe it or not, from, you know, my research now, I'm learning that vulnerability is really what kicks your butt, even in friendships. And, you know, and it's not about hiding yourself or anything like that. Just make sure that there's levels to people, and people respect you more when you don't give them everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was amazing. I'm sitting back here. I'm gonna let you hit a song that you made me think about.
Oh gosh.
Can you hear it?
Who are you over there being vulnerable with?
I was like, she making me think about let's get it on.
Well, I mean, you over there being vulnerable with somebody.
Look, y'all, we ain't supposed to get it on. So Rita said we need to hold it on.
Well, look, I'm a big proponent of weight, but I tell everybody, you know, everybody know what you're, you know, but I'll just say for everybody, that's subjective. Just know for you, who you feel comfortable with, you have to be intentional about it. You know what I'm saying? Being thoughtful, not just anybody, everybody. You make that choice, what's right for you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I thank you so much. Just stay around. I'm going to ask some people at the end, everybody at the end, to see if they have any questions for you. But right now, guys, I know it was a couple people going in and talking about their business. I'm going to throw out here real quick a vendor that was not able to come on. She sent a donation to the nonprofit. Her name is Zipporah Israel, and she's over Mark Your Beauty. It's Mark You Are Beauty, and I'm gonna put in the chat. And she's on IG, and her website is markyourbeauty.com. She actually does empowering young lady journals. Sarita, you might be interested in checking her out.
I actually have one. I have one that we're for Guide My Heart. It's a of ours. So yeah.
Okay, so she says she has those journals and she has bonnets that you guys can check out. Yeah, we all need bonnets because we want to keep the head done.
That's good too.
Like what Tabitha Brown said, get that Donna, make sure Donna is all right. So yeah, so she's cool. I see a couple of other people that have chimed in about their business. I want at least one of you guys to unmute and tell everybody about your business real quick. Dawn, you want to go?
Dawn.
Sasha, are you there? I can't hear you. Oh my God, your phone is muted. I think.
Oh, I muted myself by accident. I'm sorry.
Okay, I didn't know if you were talking about me or Don Williams.
Oh, Dawn Williams. Well, you're right. I don't know which one of you guys both have businesses. So you can go since you're unmuted and tell everybody about your business real quick.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everybody. My name is Dawn. I'm the owner of Beloved Queen Beauty. My company produces organic products. We have a range of products that we produce. We have a hair growth oil. We have teeth whiteners. We have feminine wellness products. In particularly a vaginal detox suppository that helps your vaginal pH. And I also recently just started to produce sea moss, which is a superfood that will give your body 92 minerals that it needs out of the 102 that the body is made of. So Beloved Queen Beauty is a brand that represents organic living, self-love, and organic healing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sarita, if you would come behind her and tell people about I know you just got through talking about, I know you do more than what I threw out there. So if you would tell people about your business real quick, and then I'm going to introduce our next speaker.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go on, of course, Guide My Heart, a nonprofit, and we do have a lot of services that we offer. And, I put the website on there because it's a lot that's coming up. And then we do have our scholarship that's coming up again. So I would just say, check out the website, especially like around next week. We're going to have a lot of updates on that. And then, I do offer marketing consultation, and I do graphic design. I had my whole graphic thing, but I kind of been so focused on my nonprofit. So I do those clients as need. So, just I'll put my IG handle and everything on there. So, we might need anything.
Thank you. So our next speaker is going to talk about toxic relationships, which is all, vulnerability leads right on into that. Y'all already know. We have Miss Dawn Hurst. She's from the Montgomery, Alabama, Gump. She's my sister from there. She's a cosmetologist. She's a single mother as well. She is the owner of Beloved Queen Beauty, and she's doing a lot of amazing things in Montgomery. She's actually about to start doing some vendor events there. She has a podcast that she's doing. She's doing blogs. She's just doing a lot of amazing things to provide motivation, inspiration, and just all around knowledge to the community. And I just love that about her. She is all about basically inspiring people to be more organic and be more authentic and love themselves, despite all. Just be organic, authentic about who you are. I love you too, sis, and I love all of y'all because y'all know I just love everybody. But anyways, I love you. And you guys, I'm gonna let her have the floor.
Hey girls, how are you? I'm so glad that you guys joined us today as we talk about vulnerability, toxic relationships. I want to thank you, Sasha, for giving us the opportunity to get on this platform so that we can spread more awareness on the importance of self-love and being able to take care of ourselves from a more organic standpoint. And I'm super excited to dive into the conversation today about toxic relationships. I do feel almost like I am a expert in toxic relationships, and the reason why is because I'm married at a very young age. I married at 20 years old, and I stayed married 13 years. And I married in 2003, and by 2005, the toxicity started. Okay, I married for love. I was very much so in love with my husband. I was 6 months pregnant when I got married, and things just took a very different turn. Actually, 2 years after we got married, so pretty much it was a situation where I had just given birth to my second daughter, and the bombshell got dropped on me that my ex-husband was having an affair. And so I'm 21 years old. I have 2 children. I love my husband, but that's when the infidelity started in the marriage. Not only just infidelity, but there was a lot of toxicity that was happening in our finances in regards to the way that, you know, he processed finances versus the way that I process finances. So today I just want to talk to you all about the aftermath, okay? Because sometimes you don't really know the aftermath of being in a toxic relationship until it ends. And then you are there having to look in the mirror at yourself, number one, and also face all of the things that took place within the time of that toxic relationship and the detriment that it had on you as an individual person. So let me just jump right in. So I kind of labeled this toxic relationships and how it affects you mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, okay? So just like Sarita, I think it's always important that we give
Dawn, you're breaking up. Can you hear us or hear me? Okay, guys, I think, did she get kicked out? Okay. There she goes. Okay. Yeah, I hear you now. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was breaking up.
That's okay. You had froze, so I didn't know if I should keep talking or stop. I don't even know where you guys last heard me talk on.
You were going in about the infidelity, and then I heard a little bit more after that, and then it was just like froze.
And then it cut out after that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So yeah, pretty much in a nutshell, I found myself in a situation where 2 years after and I stayed married a total of 13 years. Okay. So that's just to let you know that earlier in the marriage is when the toxicity started. But look how long it took me to actually decide to leave that relationship. All right, so that's important to know. Sasha, is your phone supposed to be muted, or how do you feel about that?
Yes, I'm supposed to be muted. You're the one supposed to be unmuted.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I just want to share a little bit about the aftermath of the toxicity of that relationship and how it affects you in every area of your life. Okay, so let's start off by giving the definition of toxic. The definition to toxic is stated as containing or being poisonous material, especially when capable of causing death or serious debilitation. All right, so the question that we have to ask ourselves is does people have the ability to be toxic? Okay. And I think that the answer, if we're all honest with ourselves, is yes. And you yourself probably at some point in time has been toxic to someone else. Okay. So let's just keep it real about that. Now, I'm going to provide for you all some surefire signs that's going to help you to identify when someone in your life is potentially toxic to you, okay? So that we can be able to identify them early on so you can make an exit plan, all right? Because this is the thing, ladies. When you see those red flags that is showing you that a person is toxic, that is the time not to ignore those things, irregardless of how you feel about them. Because I'll be honest and real with y'all. If I had enough sense and enough courage to leave my marriage the minute I found out that I was being cheated on, I probably could have saved myself a lot of damage that I accrued over the 13 years that I was invested in that relationship. Okay, so let's be clear about that now. So the number one sign if you are in a toxic relationship, and this is not only for marriage, but this is also in your friendship. This is also, excuse me, this is also in your relationships with your family, okay? Because some of us have toxic mothers, we have toxic fathers, we have toxic siblings that, you know, we've been taught that blood is thicker than water. You should always stick with your family no matter what. But what happens when the person in your family is toxic and they're bringing you down? Does that mean that you still have to try to maintain that relationship and ultimately destroy yourself in the process? My answer to that is, I don't damn think so. Okay? So let's be clear about that right now. So the number one, or one of the number one surefire signs that you are potentially dealing with someone that is toxic is anytime you go around someone and you are in their presence and you are conversating with them or what have you, and you leave the presence of that person and you're feeling drained, you're feeling bad about who you are as a person, you're feeling sad, you're feeling angry, you're feeling depressed in some shape, form, or fashion, it is safe to say that that is a sign that the person that you are associating yourself with is toxic. Okay? And let's talk about how you can get some of those feelings when interacting with that person. If you know that you are around that person and every time they come around you and y'all are conversating, they're always complaining, they always have a damn problem about something, they're having a lot of dysfunction in their own personal relationships, this is the fact of the matter. Energy is the most raw, most real thing that we have. And energy does transfer. So let's say a person is not necessarily, let's say you have a homegirl. Now listen, if we have a friend, we know that that friend probably is not helping us pay our bills. We know that that friend is probably not doing anything to maintain the survival of our everyday life. But at the end of the day, if you're having a conversation with this person and you're choosing to be friends with a person and they're always complaining about their life, how it sucks, they can't pay their bills, they broke, they man ain't no good, they're being that energy will transfer over to you during that conversation. And when you leave that conversation, you may be feeling damn depressed. Okay? You may be looking at life like, yeah, life does suck. Life is worried about the wrong thing. You have to be able to protect your energy from people that are coming around you anytime they want to have a conversation with you. It's all about what's going wrong, what's going on with their life, and the reason why it's not adding up. And I'm sorry to tell you that if a person that you talk to for the majority of their conversation is complaining or something negative, we can put them in the toxic category. Wouldn't y'all say so too, ladies? I mean, seriously, I really want y'all to think about it. Okay? Now, we do know, and let me tell y'all, I'll be the first person. I don't deal with toxicity very well these days because of all of the years that I was in toxicity. So when it comes to especially my friendships and with family too, I don't put up with toxicity. Okay. The minute I see I'm having a conversation, several conversations with a person repeatedly, and I always walk away feeling the same exact way, that is a key giveaway that this person is toxic and they are affecting my mental health. Okay. They're affecting my emotional health because once I disconnect that conversation with them, then it leaves me feeling some type of way. Okay. So that's one reason, that's one way that you can identify if a friendship, a relationship, or possibly a family member is bringing you some form of toxicity, okay? Is leaving you feeling drained, is leaving you feeling some type of way that is not positive and uplifting to your soul, all right? Now, number two, if you're in a relationship with a person and they are constantly making you feel inadequate or less than, it is a strong possibility that this person is toxic, okay? Now, that's not only in words, okay? That is also in action. When my ex-husband first cheated on me, and y'all do hear when I say first, so that means that it had to be more than one time, okay? What it did was it began the cycle of toxicity. It began the inner workings of toxicity, not only within me internally, but it also began the toxicity in our relationship. Because this is the fact of the matter. I think we're froze again. Can anybody hear me? Sasha, can you hear me?
I hear you. I think I hear you good. Girl, keep going. I'm enjoying it. Keep going. I hear you. I don't think she can hear us though. Uh-oh. Hello, Dawn. Maybe she's gonna jump out and jump back in. I don't know about you guys, but that was getting good. Yeah, I think she's gonna jump back on. I see her name over here. We can, technology just don't want us to be great, y'all.
Yes, Sasha.
It's
Oh my
okay.
God.
It's okay. We could hear you. I actually could hear you for the most part until you said you're frozen. So just
Okay,
keep
that's
going.
perfect.
I could hear you until you said frozen.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that's perfect. All right, so here we go. Another surefire sign that we can look at in regards to if you are dealing with a toxic relationship, and in this instance, I'm going to give you romantic relationship. Okay, so if you are with a person in a relationship and they make you feel a level of inadequacy, they make you feel like you are less than, then it's a possibility that that person is toxic. Now, this is not only in words, okay? We're not just talking about a person that is verbally abusing you, okay? Because we already know that if a person is telling you negative things about yourself in a relationship and they never reflect on themselves, that's toxicity, okay? Let me repeat that again. If you're in a relationship with someone and they're always pointing the finger at you and what you're doing wrong and how you're inadequate, all the things that you're bringing to the relationship that is negative, that person is toxic because they're not taking responsibility for their half of the relationship and their actions in the relationship. When a person wants to dump on you everything that you aren't doing, everything that you need to be approving in that relationship, that is toxicity, okay? That is going to cause you to start having low self-esteem, doubting yourself as a woman, and that should let you know I might need to get away from this person because they trying to make me feel some type of way right now. So let's be clear about that. Now, as far as in actions, my ex-husband cheated on me 2 years after we got married, and that's when the toxicity began. Because this is the fact, if we're all honest, okay, and my sister Sharita talked about vulnerability. Okay, this is the fact of the matter. Anybody who has ever been cheated on this Zoom call right now, and I think that that might be everybody if you're honest, you know that as a woman, when a man cheat on you, you trying to see what this girl looks like. And we gonna keep it real, or we gonna be bullshitting today. Excuse me, all right? You gonna try to look and see what she look like. You're gonna try to see what she do for a living because you want to size her up in comparison to what it is that man see in her that he don't see in you. You're going to try to see how old she is, how many children she got. You want to know everything from A to Z about that woman because then you are going to try to compare yourself to her because you want to know why is it that your husband or your boyfriend decided that he wants to go and be with another woman. That's when the toxicity is going to start, and that's when you are going to start to drop in your self-esteem, period. Okay? And that's just the way it goes. Because one thing about it is a woman doesn't like to know that her man is interested in another woman. And our first thing that we're going to think about is, what is it about me that wasn't enough? What is it about me that wasn't good enough? Okay? That's when toxicity is actually going to start in that situation. Okay? So if you know that you are in a relationship with a dude and he cheating on you or he talking to your ass crazy, he is toxic. And honey, I'm summoning you to strap up the boot of your shoes and get the booking, okay? Because nothing good can come from that. And even though I felt like I had given forgiveness to that situation, and although I felt like I had moved past it, what I didn't realize that in regards to him cheating and in regards to all of the other issues that our toxic relationship had, it was only building up the toxicity that was inside of myself. Okay? So what are we talking about right now? We're talking about how toxic relationships affect you, honey, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So let's be clear about that right now. The issue with being around a person who is toxic is that it can have some detrimental effects on you, on your overall well-being. And your overall well-being is every single category that I just named off, okay? Now, let me give you an example of how toxicity can interrupt or mess up your physical body. All right, y'all ready for this? Because I'm going to take you down the real raw lane here, okay? Number one, have y'all ever noticed that you got in a relationship with a dude and there's a lot of issues and problems, whether he's cheating on you, whether he's being verbally abusive? And let me be clear about something. Verbal abuse don't necessarily mean he's calling you a bitch, he calling you out your name, or anything like that. He could simply just be making you feel like you are not enough, when in essence, you are enough. Okay? So when you are in a toxic relationship with a person that is making you feel some type of way about yourself, you are dropping in your low self and you're dropping in your self-esteem, you're increasing in your stress level, okay? Because one thing about women, we love hard. We love very hard. And when we decide to commit ourselves to someone, we all in 100%. And we're willing to do anything and everything to make that relationship work, even if it's at our own expense. Would y'all ladies agree with me? Come on now. Y'all give me some feedback. Y'all give me something up in here today, okay? Because we breaking off the chains of toxic relationships in our lives so that we will know that we are worthy of all of the goodness and all of the greatness that God has in store for us as we are experiencing this journey while we're here, okay? But I want to share with you guys one little thing that I noticed when I was married in this toxic relationship. Okay, I had my second kid at 21 years old. So you already know that a 21-year-old, I'm only 5'2". When I got married, I was like 119 pounds. So my metabolism was at an all-time high. So I shouldn't have had a lot of issues losing weight after the babies and things like that. But let me tell y'all something. Toxicity in a relationship will cause you to begin to get toxicity inside of your physical body. And let's see, everything you're sharing. I miss this, Sarita. So I want to say this, that when toxicity begins to build inside of your physical body, it causes weight gain. Have y'all ever noticed that you've been in a can I say fucked up? I'm sorry.
You can keep it going.
Listen, come on, we're gonna keep it real.
We all grown. It's okay. I'm pretty sure we all have used that word before.
I like to call it expressive language, ladies. Okay, I'm putting a little spice. All right. Yes, Sarita. Yes, that's exactly what I was getting ready to go into. You probably noticed that if you've been in a long-term relationship that was full of toxicity, you probably gained some weight. Okay.
Okay.
And the reason why, and I want to give you guys the medical or the scientific breakdown on how toxicity literally affects you from a physical standpoint. When our bodies get into high stress levels, your body produces a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol it has some good benefits to it, but it also has some pretty sucky benefits to it. And one of the sucky benefits to it is that cortisol at high levels actually increases your blood sugar level, and it brings about cravings for sweets. That's why I like to tell women, if you find yourself just randomly craving cookies, craving cinnamon rolls or donuts or whatever, it is a possibility that the stress hormone called cortisol is increasing inside of your body, and it's bringing about these cravings for sweets. Okay? And that could be contributing to why you are having issues losing weight in your life, because you are at a pretty high stress level, and your body is actually producing cortisol. So let me give it to you like this, okay? When I was married, I had gained a lot of weight. At my heaviest, I'm only 5'2", I was at 170 pounds. That is pretty big for a person that's 5'2" in height. And what I noticed is that I would do the diet. I would, do the low carbs. I would drink only water and do all this. I would lose some weight, and then the next thing you know, the weight comes back. I would lose a little weight, let it stay off a couple months, the weight comes back. And that's because I was engulfed in a relationship that was toxic, and it was causing my body to hold on to the weight and didn't want to release it. So that'll show you or prove to you, ladies, that when we are in toxic relationships and you find yourself gaining weight, you find yourself eating more sweets and craving different foods that are high in fat, 9 times out of 10, cortisol is the culprit in that. But not only the cortisol, it's the fact that you are in a toxic relationship that is causing your stress level to increase, and it is having a negative effect on your body. Now, I'm going to go a little deeper for y'all on the physical aspect, okay? In 2011, all right, I married in 2003. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 8 years. 8 years of me being in a toxic relationship where I felt unappreciated, I felt disrespected, I felt like at times that I wasn't genuinely loved. In 2011, I was diagnosed with a autoimmune. Can you hear me? Okay.
I just said diagnosed. I got you.
Thank you. Get me together. Come on now. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder called lupus. And for those who do not know what lupus is a disease that causes your organs in your body to turn against each other, okay? So in your own organs is fighting against your own body. Now, I want you guys to write this book down, because this is a book that I found, and I'm going to actually connect this book to how toxic relationships also affect you spiritually, okay? The name of the book is called A More Excellent Way. Thank you, by Dr. Henry Wright. This book right here is full of all of the mainstream diseases that we face today. Lupus is in this book. I actually bought this book after I got diagnosed with it. And I want to let you guys know that the spiritual root cause for the autoimmune disease lupus is rooted in self-hatred. Do y'all hear me? The spiritual root cause for the disease for lupus is self-hatred. So for 2.5 years after being diagnosed with this autoimmune disease, I got taken down through there, okay? Diabetes too. If you guys get this book, I promise you it's gonna bless your whole life. If you're dealing with any type of diseases or any type of mental health disorders, it even covers acne, okay? Because I want you guys to know this, that our physical body, our spirit, our soul, our minds are all interconnected with each other. So when you are having problems and issues in one of those areas in your life, it is, I can promise you, going to affect every other area of your life. And when I got diagnosed with lupus and I bought this book and I started to read up on the spiritual root causes for lupus and seeing that it was rooted and grounded in self-hatred, the only thing that I could do was go look in the mirror at my own self and say, how did you allow so much self-hatred to build up in your body where your body turned on you? And it caused you to develop a disease where your organs is turning on you. Y'all, that's some serious shit. Or is it just me? When you are able to start to identify the toxic people in your life and the negative influence that it is having on you, that is when you step up and really start to take responsibility for your life and the things that you are experiencing, because that's what I had to do. So where it was 2.5 years, I suffered with this disease. I'm talking about lesions, sores all over my body, fatigue, not feeling well, always lethargic, my muscles, my joints always in pain. You know what that meant? I need to be trying to get some self-healing going on because this is unacceptable. And when I got diagnosed with lupus, I was still in my 20s. Okay, so I was still a young woman. So I did want to share that with you all. I did want to share that with you all to let you know that toxicity has the power to cause disease to develop in your body. That's how serious toxic relationships are, because toxic relationships bring about a very high stress level into your life, okay? So I just want to highlight this real quick. Why do y'all think people stay in toxic relationships, right? Think about it. I got diagnosed with lupus in 2011. I noticed that the spiritual root cause of it was self-hatred. I know that it was brought on by my toxic relationship, but yet I still didn't have the power to actually get out of the relationship. Sashamercedess, you can unmute. Okay. So I still didn't have the power to walk away. It actually took me how many? 12, 13, 14. It actually took me 4 more years to leave the toxic relationship. So we have to ask ourselves, why do people stay in toxic relationships? Well, I think I have a couple of answers, okay? And I really want to speak to my women on this. Sometimes you just simply feel stuck. There was times in my marriage where I felt like I was stuck. You want to know why? Because my ex-husband was the #1 breadwinner, so I had to consider finances. I had to consider that I had 2 children that were small, and I just was like, okay, do I want to break up my family unit? Yes, Tracy. So many women stay in those relationships because of those children, not understanding that every minute that you stay in a toxic relationship, you are compromising the health of yourself, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, and in some cases financially, okay? Now, sometimes you stay in a toxic relationship because you don't want to be by yourself. Maybe your entire life you have always been in a relationship and you dread the feeling of being alone. But let me tell you something. you can, first of all, the state of being lonely is in your mind. There's plenty of shit that you could be doing to occupy your time, like getting your bag ran up, okay? Going after your dreams and goals. So no, there's plenty of things that you can do to occupy
You know
your
what to say.
space. Okay, so let's be clear. So I want to debunk the lie that you got to stay in a toxic relationship because you are going to feel alone. There's plenty of stuff that you can do to level up, okay? And if y'all know, like I know, all the shit that we've been through in 2020, 2021 needs to be year of leveling up. Leveling up in your relationship, leveling up in the love that you have for yourself. All right, so let's be clear about that right now. Now, you may even hear this right here. Somebody may say, well, I'm going to stay in this toxic relationship because I don't want to hurt the person that I'm with. I feel like they need me. I feel like if I leave them, they're going to be so brokenhearted. But let me tell you something. You got to make sure that you loving yourself more than you loving that person that you in a relationship with. Because at the end of the day, when that person, if that person decides that they don't want to be with you anymore, after they done strung you alone in all of this toxicity, it's going to be you left alone picking up those pieces. Nobody else. It's not going to be your mama that's going to be able to save you. It's not going to be not your children. You're going to be left to pick up those pieces. You're going to have to be able to heal from the years of toxicity that you decided to stay in because you didn't have enough courage to say, I deserve better than this. I am worthy and I deserve to be loved from an organic, raw, 100% authentic, real place. Are y'all feeling me? Because I feel hot, y'all. Woo! Lord, I done got hot, honey. This stuff gets me all fired up on the inside because it is time for women to be able to quickly identify when they are in toxic relationships and then make the decision, make the choice that I'm not going to stay in this because I don't have to, because I love myself 150%. And if you are not on my level in regards to the way that I love myself, then baby, you can let the door hit you in your ass is what you can do. Okay? Because I ain't the one for it. So I'm going to bring this to a close. I want to leave you all with this. And this is the most important, most imperative advice that I can ever give you in a million years. There is only one remedy for overcoming toxic relationships, and that is self-love. Let's be clear. Okay? Until you increase in your self-love, in the way that you feel about yourself, and get a knowing, not a I believe, you got to know that you deserve self-love. You have to know that you deserve to be treated with respect. You have to know that you deserve to have people in your life that respect the boundaries and the standards that you set for yourself, and that you are deserving of self-love, period. That is the only remedy, queen, for toxic relationships is self-love. That's it. Sasha, it's back to you.
Thank you so much. Both of y'all know how to be powerful, but honey, what in the world? You just really had to shut us down, didn't it?
Girl, it was just too much and I got hot.
Oh my goodness, amazing. Every time I hear you speak, it's amazing. It's amazing. And you're right. Toxic relationships, just a lot of times it's on us. That self-love, you guys already know. It's so amazing how all those three topics are so different, but all just run right back into each other. Well, I just want to tell you, I just appreciate that. I appreciate you giving life to this event, to these women. You, Sarita, you too. I appreciate you. And I know that, a lot of times we think little events like this don't mean anything, but I guarantee, even though it was a few people, and I'm going to share this on Facebook, I promise you it was somebody on here that needed to hear what you guys had to say. And that's Absolutely. What it's all about. It's all about that. I don't care if one person was on here, somebody had to hear what you and Sarita had to say. And so you guys y'all are both amazing and beautiful. And I appreciate y'all. Before we get done, I know we still have Miss Kenya on here. I wanted you to tell people about your business, and then we're going to end things off, guys. So Kenya, if you would unmute, tell people about your business.
Hi, ladies. So I'm Kenya. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I have a social media company where I do posting for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I help with Sister Second Chance on their postings every day. So that's what I do, and I'm also branching out and taking on clients as well.
She's amazing too, y'all. Let me just say that she's amazing. And listen, I be forgetting I got to log in to Sister Second Chance. She be like, "Can you check your messages?" Because I forget. So I appreciate you, Kenya. So she is amazing. She is very transparent. If she got something to do, she'll let you know. But she, most of the time, she gonna take care of whatever she need to be taken care of. She is amazing. I just want you guys to know I always love the vibe of events like this. I love you guys. This is amazing. You all have to continue doing and giving the best that you got. And we are done. And I picked a song, Miss Anita Baker, giving you the best that I've got. So you guys give yourself the best that you got. Have self-love and give yourself the best that you got, because that's what it all boils down to. I love you, love you, love you. And you guys can exit on that note. I hope y'all have a wonderful Saturday.
Bye.
Reach my mind, just fine when I